All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah.
Well, negotiations, right? Politics.
And we're out of time. So you.
Hey, y'all, gravity, any day above ground living. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. It's warm outside, and you know, might be some sundresses out there for the fellas. For the females, I don't know. It might be some Negroes running around. I don't know. It could be running in Miami, because we know there's a lot of immigrants running around in Miami. The reason we bring up Miami today, family, is what you see on the screen, the thumbnail, and right now, what you see on the screen. I caught wind of this a day ago. No, I tell a lie. I saw this on Tuesday. I said, I got to get a piece of this. One more again, we got more immigrants out here lying or telling half-truths about their history. And once again, it's our job, because now we have the younger people coming. We're going to not debunk, but we're going to point out inconsistencies in these fallacies. And I think I'm the perfect person to do it because I come from a family of immigrants. So I have intimate knowledge of the immigration process. So when people like to tell you that they came here or their family came here with no money in their pocket, we have to come back on them and say, ain't no way in the world this racist ass government is just going to let you in this country without a couple dollars to your name. Or at least someone you know has a sizable income. Oh, we're going to get into all that. But before we do that, let's see who's in the building. Priscilla Taylor, hello. Miss Nisi, hello. Don P, hello. Stolen Ancestors, hello. Jerry Bedford, hello. BB Rodriguez, hello. Wallow J, hello. Weldon Johnson X, hello. Soul Survivor, hello. Miss Nisi, we're going to say hello to you again. And whoever has not said anything in the live chat or the comments, hello. Now we're already in the vortex, so we're going to have fun with this. But we have to do the customary house cleaning. So we're going to get that done now.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose, such as criticism, commenting, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
All right, family. We're just going to get into it, and we're going to have fun with this today. Now, here is the post that caught wind of a lot of Black Americans and B1 and those that are on code. Now, for reference, we don't have a problem with people coming here that are immigrants. There's no problem with that. As long as you do it correctly. Not a problem. As long as you come here, you do what you got to do for yourself and your family, and you don't undermine, no problem. The problem is when you start trying to undermine or you try to falsify or stretch the story or leave out key details. So this woman named Martha Bueno, now apparently she's a libertarian down there in Miami. She says she's Miami's voice for change advocate for single subject legislation. She talks about getting fluoride out of the water and things of that nature. That's admirable. I find it funny, though, because this is how we're going to start this off, that she kept talking about her Cuban side, but didn't mention the Colombian side. But we're not going to get into that today. We're not going to get into that today because she made sure to tell people about the Cuban side. Because if you have been keeping up with the news, the Cuban side's been getting their ass kicked. Because Trump, even though the Cubans voted for him down in Miami, the Cubans have been targeted for deportation by the Trump administration. Oh, you don't believe me? You probably do, but, you know, we just got to show you the proof. There you go. Trump revokes legal status for 530,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. That came down on Monday. So the timing of her post was quite strange to me because she put up that post a day after this came out. But all right, you didn't care about this. You want to see the post. So here's the post. She said, "My father is a proud man. He arrived from Cuba without a penny in his pocket. He's proud to say he never took a single dollar of government assistance. I was raised with that mentality, which led me to rely on my community, my family, when I was going through tough times. I could have gone to the government at 21 pregnant with my first child and gotten benefits, but instead I went to my grandfather. He had recently widowed a few months prior when my grandmother passed and asked if I could move in. I asked him if I could move in. Our arrangement was simple. I paid all expenses and took care of him. In exchange, I got a roof over my head. That's what I learned what a rip-off property taxes were, especially to the retired. I also learned how to cook as my grandfather needed to eat, and I realized that prior to moving in, he just opened a can of something instead of eating a proper meal. Because of my grandfather's charity, I learned how to manage my time more effectively so I could take care of him and my newborn baby. I also learned how to budget better as I was in charge of my grandfather's finances as well as my own. It was my grandfather who sat in his chair every afternoon by my computer, counting how many packages I was shipping that day versus the previous day after I started my home-based business. I didn't realize it then, but that little encouragement pushed me to get even further ahead. My grandfather passed the day I found out I was pregnant with my daughter almost 22 years ago. There isn't a day I am not grateful to him, his love, and his teachings. If I would have gotten government assistance, I don't know where I would be right now, but I can say that the government tries to be a substitute for the community. There's nothing more humbling than having to ask for help, and nothing more rewarding than finding it and finding the love and compassion of others. Build your community. That's what life is all about. Now, as you can see, she said that on Tuesday at 10:18 a.m. And she had 66,000 views on that post. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask you a question. It's going to be a beautiful question. How did you feel about this story? We'll do that before anything else. How did you feel about what Miss Bueno wrote? And then I'll give you my take. Anyway, how are y'all doing today? Hope everybody's well. Hope you found eggs. Because the Trump administration has been told by several countries, we ain't finna give you no eggs. So the price is gonna go up. But hopefully you found eggs. If you have that Costco card, go get them eggs. If you got the BJ's, pause. Go get them eggs. Beautiful song. No, beautiful song. Beautiful song. Okay. And it started over. We'll give y'all another couple seconds just to make sure if you get all your thoughts out. All right, I think you guys got your thoughts out. Let's see what the people say. Well, Jay said he feels nothing. BB Rodriguez said the revised immigrant story. Miss Niecy's tired. William said the without a penny part is a lie. She later skipped 21 years ahead. How did the government get involved? Story styles off. Okay. BB also said it's always one parent and one grandparent mentioned. Well, here is my response.
Wait, Wilson.
And don't worry, we sent her the link, so maybe she'll look at it later. Now, for those who know already, you know what I'm about to say. For those who don't know about me, you're going to hear this for the first time. 3, 2, 1. This story is 100% cap. And I'm going to tell you why. We're not going to crap on her family. We're not going to do that. Not today. We're going to crap on what she said. And this is how we're going to crap on what she said. Number one, ma'am, my people are from Jamaica. So again, I have intimate knowledge on how the immigration system works. Number one, the U.S. government would never, and I said this earlier, would never allow somebody to come in this country without money in their pocket. That's number one. Number two, which we'll highlight later, you can't get into this country as an immigrant unless you have somebody here that's already established. Case in point, my paternal grandmother came up here first, left her children down in Jamaica so she could set up shop up here so they could start slowly coming up here to make better lives for themselves, because this was after the race riots down there in 65. And suffice to say, my people didn't come up here until the 70s. So they were still down there. Number two, how dare you come out here and try to retell your father's story to get sympathy after what Trump did? This was disgusting. And as everybody else pointed out in the chat, you took liberties with this story, which again, we're going to show later. You said you could have gone to the government at 21, pregnant with your first child and gotten benefits. Newsflash. Your old man got benefits when he got here. I know you like to lie and say that he never got benefits. As I'm going to show you later, his cousin, her, I guess, technically maybe her uncle or whatever, they got set-asides. And there was another post I was trying to find, but I couldn't find it. She admitted, now y'all gotta hear this. She admitted that her father ran from communist Cuba, right? In the 60s. That man literally said he was going to be killed if he stayed. The US government gave him automatic citizenship, as they did a lot of Cubans. I know y'all know this, but this is for the people who don't know this. Now, we're not going to get into all this about you starting your business and all this. But again, you putting up your people's story and fudging the details and leaving things out. This was disgusting. You could have, and the reason why you got the ire is because of the way you phrased this. All you had to say was, yes, your father was a proud man. Maybe he did come here without money, but you could have said that he got assistance from his family and he got assistance from also the government, because we know he did. And he used that to get on his feet here and build and create and give something to his kids. Nobody would have come at you over that. I promise you they wouldn't. You put this out there so when MAGA and the MAGA adjacents start figuring out that Trump is now going after them Cubans and everybody else, you don't get caught in the crossfire. You don't have them white boys and them white women start talking about, oh, go back to your homeland, because that'll hurt you. So I asked her, how much were you paid to post this lie? She said, who would pay me to post my family history? Well, number one, X would pay this. Number two, you're trying to get sympathy, which I'm about to tell her, from the MAGA boys. So I said, nobody's triggered here, ma'am. You're looking for MAGA and white conservatives to brand you as a good Cuban and a good American because Trump is deporting Cubans. It's cool, though. I'll show the fallacies and you're arguing later on my YouTube channel, which we're doing right now. So this person said Cubans built Miami with the greatest of American ethos and values. Seriously? They built Miami? How did they build Miami? Thank you, Willie Dynamite, with that cocaine money. I love how they don't tell about those bloody Miami wars. Love how they didn't tell that. Should we go down to history one day of how the Cubans were sitting there shooting at Haitians and Jamaicans and the white people and the black people in Miami and spreading blood all over the streets down there? Should we do that? I love how y'all forget about that history. Should we tell them about the wars y'all had down there with the Colombians and the Ecuadorians and the Puerto Ricans? Should we do that? Should we start pulling up NBC6 articles and videos showing how y'all were getting down in Miami? It's no hate. This is recorded history. So shout out to Willie Dynamite for that. I don't know why he went back all the way back there. Okay, so we'll go back to this. So here's Black Empower said, you and your father got handouts from the government through the Cuban refugee program, which consisted of cash payments, social services, employment, and housing. You only insist on lying about it to have a fake moral high ground. You and him were refugees coming here for a handout. She then said, neither my father nor I ever did. My father arrived in the U.S. as a political prisoner in the 1960s, far before those were even programs. Just because you wanted to be so doesn't make it so. I've never taken a government handout and I never will. Well, ma'am, I'm sure that's benevolent, but except we have to talk. Because you said your dad came up here in the 60s. The Cuban refugee program started in 1961, thanks to William L. Mitchell and the JFK administration, who we all know used that program to undermine Castro. Castro opened up all those prisons and opened up his borders and said, you want to go, don't come back. And how many Cubans left? No hate, no shade on them. We just talking about recorded history. That program was in service for 20 years before they shut it down. And then, as we saw in movies like Scarface and others, they started putting them in camps until they could figure out if they knew people there or they could establish that they could have a job and a place to live. And then they released them. We all know this. But it seems like y'all love to not talk about history because you think it's going to make you look bad. This is your history. You should embrace it. So your Cuban refugee program, what did it do? We're not even going to read all this. What did it do? Here we go. Secretary Ribicoff's report to President Kennedy re-emphasized the need for a comprehensive program of aid. Aid. We all know what aid means. Always in dollars. And on February 3rd, the president directed the secretary to take the following actions. What did JFK say? Provide all possible assistance to voluntary relief agencies in providing daily necessities for many of the refugees, for resettling as many of them as possible, and for securing jobs for them. Well, it sounds like Job Corps. Sounds like welfare. Even though welfare wasn't a thing yet. Well, look at that. Before the advent of the government welfare program, they were getting set-asides. Well, isn't that something? Black Americans, do not cuss in my comment thread. I know y'all are upset right now. Do not cuss. Thank you, Kira. Tell them about Cuba and Jamaica and their exchange program. Tell them about it. My cousin went through it. One of my cousins went through it. Talk to him. Number 2, obtain the assistance of both private and governmental agencies to provide useful employment opportunities for displaced Cubans consistent with the overall employment situation prevailing in Florida. Florida was being built up in the 60s. They needed workers at all levels. So they said, let's get this cheap Cuban labor. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, right? Okay. Except they were undermining everybody else. But, okay. This is about the Cubans today. 3, provide supplemental funds for the resettlement of refugees in other areas, including transportation and adjustment costs to the new communities, and for their eventual return to Miami for repatriation to their homeland as soon as that is again possible. Well, what is this in number 3? They were going to give them money to go move elsewhere until they got on their feet. And then once they built everything up, they were going to kick them out. Well, isn't that something? You gotta love people like this, right? This is your government. Let's continue. Number 4, furnish financial assistance to meet basic maintenance requirements of needy refugee families in the Miami area as required in communities of resettlement, administered through federal, state, and local channels and based on standards used in the community involved. Well, damn, 3 levels of help for people that are not even citizens. Black Americans do not cuss in my comment thread. I know y'all are upset. We will drop the link later. We will let y'all go off. Well, look at that. 3 levels of assistance. Number 5, provide for essential health services through the financial assistance program supplemented by child health, public health services, and other arrangements as needed. Well, look at that. They were getting their own doctors. They were getting their own clinics. They were probably getting the early versions of the rolling mobiles, health mobiles. Look at that. Well. Number 6, furnish federal assistance for local public school operating costs related to the unforeseen impact of Cuban refugee children on local teaching facilities. So local public schools were getting more money to house Cubans. Kind of sounds like what we went through the last 3 years in Chicago, New York, and other places in the country. They did this 60 years ago. The template, ladies and gentlemen, the template. Number 7, initiate needed measures to augment training and educational opportunities for Cuban refugees, including physicians, teachers, and those with other professional backgrounds. What does that mean, family? That means if you were a doctor or a teacher or something of a high status in Cuba, they would help transfer you over here. Well, Jesus Christ, isn't that something? And by the way, we've heard these stories before because, a lot of immigrants like to talk. How they were big shit over in their homeland and come back over here and they big shit. Biggest example was Vivek's father, who, by the way, is still not a citizen. We continue. 8, provide financial aid for the care and protection of unaccompanied children, the most defenseless and troubled group among the refugee population. Well, look at that. They were sending kids over by themselves. And it sounds like what we were going through a few years ago, huh? Ain't that something? Must be nice. 9. And while they were doing this, family, I know I shouldn't bring this up. While they were doing this, they were taking the ancestors and the predecessors and feeding them to alligators and hitting them with water hoses and dogs and hanging them and lynching them and raping and Emmett Tilling them. But they had a heart for the Cubans. Even though they were going to send them back to their homeland, they had at least a half a heart, maybe a quarter. Maybe they had a left ventricle full. Maybe. 9, undertake a surplus food distribution program to be administered by the county welfare department, with surplus foods distributed by public and voluntary agencies to needy refugees. In the 60s, family, where there was a food shortage. There was the beginnings of a food shortage, but they found enough to give to refugees from Cuba. When there had actual neighborhoods around the country that needed food. Isn't that something? We continue. I hope these measures will be understood, the president said, as an immediate expression of the firm desire of the people of the United States to be of tangible assistance to the refugees until such time as better circumstances enable them to return to their permanent homes in health, in confidence, and with unimpaired pride. And guess what? It hasn't happened yet. So what we're going to do for you, family, you can read through this. Because we're going to go back to that post. Now, she said her father was jailed in Cuba. So we're going to ask this again, family. And we're going to ask this question with the sincerity that it requires. You're not about to sit up here, ma'am, and try to tell your father's story when your father was jailed in another homeland. Here's our question. How the hell did he get through customs? How the hell did he get through the system? Because I know for a fact, if you had a criminal record in them times, unless somebody really, really, really vouched for you, they weren't letting you in. You had to sit there. I would love to know the story your father told them officials for him to get let in. I would love to tell him that. Now, I know you say because you went against Castro. I need the details on that. Because you saying that he didn't support Castro, that's why he jailed him. I think you're leaving out details, but okay, fine. We're going to move on, family, because of course, something happened. And when this something happened, we all said, here we go. She responded to her post with a quoted tweet, right? She said, the comments on this post are so wild. Why are Black Americans so mad that people come to this country and prosper? And more importantly, why aren't their own communities prospering after being in the US for multiple generations? Now, this is in response to the fact that in that first post, she was getting her culo kicked all over the place. She had her few stragglers running there talking about how great she is. But for the most part, if you look at that link and that thread, they were destroying her. But of course, now that she's getting cooked, where do you go? You gotta go start knocking Black people, Black Americans specifically. Cool. So, as she's doing this, I'm sitting there reading it, right? And I said, let me see where this goes. She said, when you look at communities, those who stick together tend to do better. I would suggest working with other oppressed groups to improve the community instead of sowing division and hatred. Blaming people who didn't even live in America for their oppression is wild. And this is where I said, I really got to do this. Because how does she sit up here and write this paragraph with a straight face? Madam, number one, we tried working with oppressed groups. We saw what they really wanted. They wanted to use our voice to amplify theirs. And then when they get to the line, they get their set asides, take everything else. And then when we go up there, we ain't got nothing. And then we look at them like, what are you doing? They're like, well, we got to go take care of our own. This is why you start seeing now people going outside trying to protest, and they protest don't hit on shit. Because we not out there. Your bullhorn's not out there right now. Now you got to use your voice, and nobody respects your voice. That's why when we go outside and start protesting, things move. Things stop. Things change. Y'all go out there and protest. People call cops on you. People get out their cars so want to fight you. Y'all have them human chains. They throwing you into the sewer. Number two, your last line talking about blaming people who didn't even live in America for their oppression. Ma'am, your father came up here in the 60s. Did your father fight with Black Americans? I bet you he didn't. I bet you your grandfather didn't. I can almost promise you, they probably sat in Miami, did what they did, nothing wrong with that. But when they saw the oppression going on, they weren't out there fighting. If it wasn't against Cubans, they didn't care. Which is fine. That's your prerogative. But don't come up here and start this black and brown coalition crap. We don't care. Because we saw how that worked. Or lack thereof. Then she wrote, I'm for people getting ahead in life, and any opportunity I get to help people, I do. I guess I'll never understand this mentality. Right. You don't understand the mentality of helping people and getting stabbed in the back for it. You help people so you can pad your stats online. We get it. I'm not the enemy here, but if it makes you feel better, attack me. Have at it. It affects me not one bit. Right. Now, this was in response to Cece saying, she was asking her questions of like, how did your people get here? What did they get? She was just asking her questions, and she took that as a personal affront and started knocking Black Americans. So then she said, I'll gladly have this discussion with you in the X space. The myth that Black American freemen, lazy, poor, and criminal must and will end. Myth of the model minority, prosperous immigrant will end as well. If immigrants from everywhere are so awesome, why are their countries failing? She was just asking a simple question. Because there was no point in you making this post about Black Americans. Something that somebody said or a few people said triggered you to write this. So Jeff said, I thought I only saw one Black person bitching about your story unless I missed something. Most of us wouldn't even care. Then she said, there are a whole bunch in that thread. Call me all kinds of names. Nobody called her names. We went through it. Nobody called her names. We just said that your story doesn't line up. That's all we said. Now, this one said, people like to act the victim, start pulling out the race card. Ma'am, we're literally here because she pulled out her ethnicity. She pulled out her race. This is literally why we're here. But again, they don't get it. Oh, here we go. She actually said something truthful. She actually acknowledged that Cubans that come here are on assistance. And the older ones don't like this. But what she fails to realize is the older ones took assistance too. Oops. This is just like when we tell y'all the Cubans that come here and they get their citizenship and they build their life, they hate the new ones that come behind them. They want them to be shut out. And we've seen that with other immigrant groups as well. They'd rather shut the door because they got theirs. Now it's about the left. You see what I'm talking about? So, oh boy. This is why. See, look, somebody had to come in here and talk about how Nigerians were making 72,000. I'm like, we're not even going to go to that. And rightfully so, I actually gave her credit. She actually went after them. It was like, why'd you bring that up? But okay. There was one other thing I wanted to show you, and then I'll drop the link. She wrote this then on the 23rd. Unpopular opinion. You're not supposed to live comfortably on government assistance. Luxuries are for those who can afford them. Now, this is in regards to that soda BS. So I'm starting to see a through line with this chick. I'm gonna leave this one here for y'all because I don't want to go through it because it's gonna kind of derail what I'm want to talk about. But I'm gonna let y'all see that and then I'm gonna put the original one because I swear y'all gotta read all the comments. I'm gonna show you a couple of quoted ones, and then we're gonna drop the link because the quoted ones were even better. Somebody put up this video.
Miamians watched as Cuban exiles were given assistance, aid, and money that native-born Black Americans never received.
Now, remember, she said her people never got this, which, again, I'm calling cap on.
Some Blacks began to feel that the Cuban migration and the federal government's attention to Cuban needs blunted demands that Blacks were making during the 1960s civil rights struggle. Jesse McCrary is an attorney in Miami. At 34, McCrary has had a fast-moving career. He's been an assistant state's attorney general and for a time sat as one of Florida's federal court judges. McCrary likes to remember that he is one of few Blacks that is able to maintain offices on Miami's Biscayne Boulevard. We asked McCrary what he thought the Cuban immigration means to Blacks in Miami.
For one, Tony, it means that economically, when you look at what the Cubans have done in terms of their economics versus what Blacks have done, it means that we are once again at the bottom of the barrel. There are no predominantly Black financial institutions in this county. Some people would say that, even though there is a bank here with a number of Blacks on the board of directors. But when you look at the control of the bank, where the major portion of the stock is held, it's held by white Miamians. Contrasting that, you have Cubans who have a bank that reportedly is one of the fastest growing banks in the country.
How the hell did they build that up? Now, I'm not saying they didn't have businesses and they didn't put their money in, but we know that started with government assistance. We know that. But Martha not going to tell you that.
Now, that poses a problem because I believe that the whole...
By the way, and she's also the same chick, if you go through that thread, she was the same one who said that her father had several businesses. How did he start those businesses? If he claimed he had no money in his pocket, how did he start them businesses?
Strength of any community happens to be what kind of financial institutions do you have? Is there an institution that can make a loan to a man who wants to go in business? Is there an institution that is sympathetic to a man who wants to build a house? Is there an institution where he can borrow money to send his children to school? Now, if you don't have those kinds of institutions, then certainly when other people have them, that is white Miami, Cuban Miami, and then Black Miami does not have it, it certainly puts them in a pretty poor position, I think.
But she's going to tell us that that never happened. Her father was never part of that. Okay. This person said Cubans got set-asides.
Little Havana sat across the Miami River from Overtown, the city's historic Black neighborhood since the 1890s. Miami belonged to the Jim Crow South, and as African Americans watched Cubans ensconce themselves there, they noted all kinds of contradictions. At a time and place in which racial segregation was rampant, they observed how almost all Cubans, often no matter their skin color, became white.
Remember when I read that thing? There was also a thread in there where somebody called it up like, you know, Cubans come here and they identify as white. She got upset at that.
Sometimes it happened at the very moment of arrival. When they registered at the refugee center downtown, people received hotel vouchers if they needed them. Almost
hotel vouchers.
All but the very darkest refugees received vouchers for...
Almost all but the very darkest refugees received vouchers for white hotels. And if you go through that thread, somebody brought up how y'all be disrespecting them Afro-Cubans. She got upset, tried to cape for the Afro-Cubans. How you gonna cape for the Afro-Cubans? Talk about they like Black Americans, they from Africa. She said that. You can go look up through the thread. I ain't making that up. She said that. She said Afro-Cubans come from the same place Black Americans come from, Africa. That's number one. Number two, I know damn well when she was sitting in Miami, she came around them Afro-Cubans. I know she was playing racist. I'll bet money on that.
White hotels. Miami beaches were just as segregated. Some were restricted to whites, others to blacks. Quote, but Cubans may use either beach, reported Look magazine in April 1959.
1959. 1959.
Cuban children, almost no matter their complexion, were allowed to go to white public schools, which were invariably better resourced than their black counterparts.
Which we just read in the Cuban refugee report. Oops. But again, she's going to tell us that we're lying.
1961, a local black minister speculated that African Americans in Miami could solve the problem of school segregation simply by teaching their children to speak only Spanish. Such observations aside, black leaders consistently emphasized that the problem was not with the new arrivals themselves, but with the preferential treatment given them by the government. As the head of Miami's Urban League insisted, we're not angry at the Cubans, but at a system that will do more for outsiders than for its own citizens.
Sounds like what we were going through all them years, right? And still going through today. You would rather look out for people that don't even live here or are not even part of this country than your own citizens.
The Cubans, however, were not just any outsiders. They were outsiders fleeing communism at the height of the Cold War, and that made refugees an asset. They might be willing recruits for Washington's anti-Castro project.
Which they have documented proof that they use refugee Cubans to go after Castro and underground pro-Castro movements that were sitting in Miami and Florida and Texas. That's documented proof. You can go look that up. They would bring them Cubans in, they would fly them to Washington, or they would have them go to these buildings in Miami and debrief them to get some insight on what Castro was doing. We know that.
At the very least, their arrival in large numbers helped tarnish the image of the revolution before the world. Accordingly, the Immigration and Naturalization Service gave Cubans temporary legal status. Then, near the end of its
temporary legal status, which I told you earlier, she admitted her father got automatic citizenship. Sabrina, you want to get that moth or mosquito, whatever the hell it is? You know, if I get up, I'm gonna kill it.
term, Eisenhower established the Cuban Refugee Emergency Center to coordinate relief to Cuban arrivals. The program, renamed and expanded by Kennedy, gave Cubans access to all kinds of resources: work permits, job training, English classes, small loans,
Small loans. Well, there you go. Say it again, brother.
All kinds of resources: work permits, job training, English classes.
Small loans. Her father started several small businesses. How'd he get that? That's interesting, is it?
Small loans, subsidized childcare, housing assistance, and job referrals. Access to those benefits allowed Cubans to work for lower wages than others, sometimes for as little as half the wage garnered by their black counterparts. One report estimated that between 1959 and 1962, 12,000 African Americans lost their jobs to Cubans. Sometimes
12,000 African Americans lost their jobs to Cubans. There you go. There you go. There you go. Resettlement, housing, vocational training, employment, food, and healthcare to Cubans who had escaped to the United States due to Fidel Castro's dictatorship. Yeah. You're gonna act like you didn't get something. How you gonna tell this lie? She's really gonna act like them giving them temporary legal status or automatic citizenship was not a set aside. That was not government assistance. Man, you got a leg up that you got your people got a leg up that people that came here through Ellis Island and other airports didn't even get. They had to wait 5 to 10 years to get. He got it automatically. So that's not what we not gonna do. Not gonna tell this lie. He did not have to pay 1 red cent for his citizenship. Because again, you said it. He was going to be deleted if he stayed in Cuba. So the way I'm looking at it, he was brought here because he was anti-Castro. Y'all can go look at the quoted tweets. It was fun. So what we gonna do now, we're gonna drop this link because I know y'all got a lot to say. The age of delineation got everybody wilding out. You got people out here lying. Again, you could have told your father's story and you didn't have to tell not one lie. Yes, sir.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm all right.
Hello to everybody in the room. My thing is this: why do immigrants always love to talk junk to the black people of the country, but not the white folks?
Because they think we're the easy target.
Because I would love for them to go after them white folks and tell them, hey, y'all the criminal. Like basically, I would love them to say, y'all got more privilege than I do, but I'm doing way better than you. I would love for them wanting them to go do that.
They're trying to smash. See, when they come after us, they can claim racism. They can't do that on them white folk.
Because they try to be white, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it is racist, it's more racist when the white folks come after them over us, because we don't even. It's like, because I was sitting there thinking when you were reading, I was like, didn't Cubans, don't they, I ain't gonna say most of them, but don't a lot of them sit there and claim they're white more than any damn thing? And then it's like,
they all white. The only ones that can't do it are the Afro-Cubans.
If you ain't got no melanin to you, then yeah, Umar, let me stop. But yeah, like I think people, and I think they want to do it to us. They talk junk to us, so them white folks don't get on them like that. That's why I just really think they just do it. So
well, it's like I said in the beginning. She only wrote this because Trump is deporting Cubans now, and they know if they would have got wind that she existed, she would have been caught up, and she'd have been fighting for her life with them white people.
Yeah, because them white folks ain't gonna come to her rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hollering for black folk like, nah, y'all, no.
She couldn't holler for us. Yeah, you saw how quick she turned when people started asking a question.
Yeah, like these immigrants and kids of immigrants need to stop that mess. Like everybody knows, even the white folks know they getting assistance. So why they sitting there acting like they don't get assistance?
Because it's looked down as being shameful.
Yeah, y'all get assistance.
Because you got to remember, most of these people sell themselves to these online idiots that they've done something, they've accomplished something in their life. And then they always slip up and tell you the truth. And then you look at them like, so you really didn't accomplish nothing. You started with money that I put into the system.
Right. Because if you were so much of an accomplished hard worker, why was you hard working in your own country?
Right. But even if you came here, you would have started the day you got off, wherever you got off, you would have had your brick and mortar already. You would have been making something of yourself. And we know that does never happen.
Because I'll tell one straight up, if you so much of a hard worker, why would you hard working in your country? What's wrong with your country?
Well, see, she has a built-in excuse because her people are gonna say they from Cuba. They ran from Castro. Castro wouldn't let you build nothing up there unless he had a piece of it.
Castro?
But see, that's how they get away with it, especially the older ones. That's how they get away with it. They would come from these regimes that suck, so they could say, "Oh, I had to leave."
Didn't they take him out, Castro?
No, he died. No, he died. They tried to take him out, but it didn't work.
Yeah, I was like, something like that, but
he died. He died natural.
Oh, he died of natural causes. Okay.
Right. He had the brother take over, and then he died a couple years after the brother took over.
Cause I know they said he was very friendly to black folk, but when the white folk them Cubans didn't like him. Cause when Kaepernick had that Castro shirt on, them Cubans down there got pissed off.
Yeah, you gotta remember he had an exchange program with Jamaica, where he would bring Jamaican students over, and he would teach. They would learn in them schools, and they would also do military training.
Yeah,
and them white Cubans did not like that.
Yeah, then he sent something to Africa too. I remember he wanted to sponsor black students.
Yeah,
Africa said no, didn't
he?
Yeah, okay, yeah, but shit, they ain't
They didn't want to piss off the West.
Yeah, good job, Africa. Never stop. Oh man.
Oh, my minority was smashing up them Teslas. Okay, good. Let white folk deal with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can deal with that, and them cyber trucks too, them ugly ass cyber trucks. I seen a blue one around my town, my city. Something ugly as hell. Look like a big ass bus. Excuse me, but yeah, they. Oh yeah, you heard about that that protest they supposed to be doing next Saturday, right?
Yeah, I ain't gonna protest.
That's what I'm saying. Don't go out there. I'm just asking if you heard about it. If you heard about it, stay your ass.
Yeah, they got it planned down here in Atlanta. Great, go do your thing. They're gonna do it downtown. Do your thing. I'm good.
I'm gonna tell every black person I know, stay your ass out the goddamn street.
No, my ass. I'll be at work, so I miss all that.
I'll be at work, and then when I get off work, I'm going home. Coming home. I ain't. Nope. Y'all can have all that. Kiss my ass.
Well, I know is they better not mess up them folk trying to get to opening day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ooh, that's right. Major League Baseball season.
Yeah, Atlanta opening day, boy. Don't wait. No, that was last year. I think they home. So yeah, don't play with people down here.
Ain't the Braves like somewhere in the suburbs now?
Yeah, they like right at the line of Cobb County and it's like right at the beginning of Cobb County.
Baseball don't hit like it used to. Pause.
Then nobody cares.
Yeah, because ain't nothing but Cubans and what's that Japanese? It's a Japanese guy. They got the face that like.
Yeah, he over there in LA. Got the highest posting ever. Okay, bless him. They said they got a 60-year-old over there right now. They say he gonna get more.
I looked at somebody. I said no, because ESPN didn't renew their contract with Major League Baseball, so
that's fine. That's their money. Who cares?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, because nobody watches it no more. And I think it was Dewan B that even said that's why they did one reason why it failed because they didn't want to
Look at this. See what I mean? This is bitch behavior. This is bitch logic.
That man ain't been in office since 2017.
This is bitch logic.
That man been out of office for 8 years, and you still thinking about that man.
He love black people. Oh my God.
Hold on, go back to that comment. He said what? Oh, American.
I was gonna say something fucked up. I was gonna say worry about a motherfucker swatting you again, but I ain't gonna say that.
Jesus Christ. I know that comment thread is dangerous. Ooh. Hey man,
how was he gonna bring the country together? Y'all didn't even white people after 2012 did not like that man. So how we were gonna come together?
Show didn't. It was black folks and Latino people that put him back in that office the second term. And some middle class white folks.
They'll learn. Anyway,
did you see that interview with Swerve did on Culture Vulture Vlad? I ain't watched the interview. I seen clips of it.
I was thinking about doing a live stream on it, but I don't want to do it.
I would say if you do it, just download the video. Don't even get that bastard name video.
Oh no, that's how I would do it, but I don't even want to do it.
I was like, I respect Swerve for what he said, but I'm like, why did you go to Vlad to go say it?
Because it's Vlad.
I don't know.
Get a
I ain't
cop.
And he gonna get Swerve in trouble. Keep on. And then they said Adam 22 got
shit. That's at the Rangers ballpark. Guess
damn.
so. All right, that's
Damn.
right there. That motherfucker eat dino ribs at the ballpark. Boy, you gonna be in the toilet.
Is you? Sheesh. It look good though. I will say that.
Shout out to him.
Shoot. Cause you heard about they said Adam 22 got questioned about the feds. I said, uh-oh, here we go. Allegedly.
Huh?
What?
I might have to look at that later. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Oh. All right.
Is there anything I want to ask you? Nope. Okay. No, I was just gonna think of some stuff I wanted to ask. Oh yeah, but I ain't gonna spoil this. I ain't finished it yet, but I'm at a good part right now with Assassin's Creed. It's getting better. The story's getting better and better as it goes.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna play tomorrow.
What part you still at now?
Where the fuck else I was at? I don't remember.
I was getting killed trying to kill somebody. I don't know how many times I got killed trying to kill somebody. I got frustrated and quit. I said, I'm done. But it's fun though. It's a fun game. It's a fun game. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. But I'll land my plane, sir, and go watch some Netflix.
There you go. All right. That was Wallow J. All right. If nobody else, I'm gonna go cook. Hopefully you learned something. If you did a dumb job. If not, I try to be better next time. I guess I'll see you when I see you. The video, don't worry, the Terrence K video is coming. It's coming. Pause. It's just life. I'm trying to get this certification and other things. It's not a priority right now. But it's coming. So, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully, like I said, you learned something. And don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. So y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Time's up.
But did we have a good time here? Hello?
Gotta get your groove on.
At the end of the day gotta end.
That's it.